Two pieces from Reuters Breakingviews today on the this UBS fine. Joining me is Breakingviews managing editor Chris Hughes. Chris, I want to start with your piece. I mean, it just seems a little bit edgier, if you like, especially this line: the bank was so convinced it was fundamentally boring that it couldn't face reality. What do you mean by that?
Well, just thinking back to those heady days of the credit boom when UBS would present its quarterly results, and it was a struggle. I mean, this was a bank that sort of revelled in the perception that it was the boring one, it was safe, it was well run. The other Wall Street and European banks might be kind of chasing the credit boom, but UBS was a solid one. It obviously had a premium rating. The market believed it. The rating agencies believed it. There was a sort of feedback loop of this is boring, this is safe. Now, of course, we know already that wasn't true because when the subprime crisis hit, it turned out that actually UBS had been loading up, and its fabled competence in risk management was anything but. It had actually, its complacency over its risk management had actually been a factor in how it had gone so big into subprime, thinking that nothing could possibly go wrong because they were the safe bank. But what's stunning about what's coming out today in relation to the LIBOR rigging is that it wasn't just a sort of incompetence issue. There was a pretty bad culture in parts of the bank too.
Yeah.
Now one wouldn't have associated that with UBS, and what's more, even after the bank did this big mea culpa in 2008 over the subprime situation, this stuff was carrying on. It's as though it was untouched.
Which leads us on to Dominic Elliott's piece. This is not the end of its woes. But just on something you said, this is from the Reuters news piece. The FSA said, quote, the manipulation was conducted openly and was considered to be a normal and acceptable business practice by a large pool of individuals. I mean, that's astonishing.
It is absolutely astonishing. And the fact that it actually endured even after the bank had done a lot of soul searching about how it lost so much money in subprime, this just carried on. And so, it's still as if UBS sort of couldn't quite accept that it was so far away from the image that it presented to the market that it really needed to have sort of root and branch review of everything.
So what happened? I mean, reputational risk. Yes, there's a hit. This fine. And worth noting, the fine was 3-4 times the size of the Barclays fine, which suggests this was more egregious, if you like. But what happens now? Well,
the shares are actually up today. Do you remember that in UBS's favour now, it has already done its big strategic change. So, fortunately for the bank, it has already said, we need to change, we are changing. And it's adopted a very radical strategy to really pull back in fixed income. All of the kind of regulatory clouds over it are starting to clear with these settlements. There is, I think, still a risk, though, that with essentially the admission that I think there's some disgorgement of profits here. There's more in this to sort of grease a civil claim from potentially from clients or others who feel as though they've been disadvantaged through LIBOR rigging, and so that's going to still hang over the bank. The potential for lawsuits
and hang over investors
too. However, at least they've already done their kind of big move. I mean, if they hadn't, they would now be forced into doing something like that. So at least they've been able to do their repositioning, their big strategy announcement from a position of, on their own terms, and not been forced into it by this. So it could actually have been worse.
Okay, very good. Chris, many thanks for that. Chris Hughes, for more Agenda Setting Insight, watch our US show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.